How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Coach Mike and OP podcast. This is episode 8. We have a special guest joining us today, Nick Brinias. Things you guys don't know about Nick. So basically, I've coached him since he was in 5th grade. I coach in his AAU program called Pac Elite. One of the most elite point guards I've had the pleasure of coaching that got to my alma mater, Wakanda High School. And just excited to have him. He's a very big wealth of basketball knowledge. He's seen the game in and out. He's played AAU, he's played feeder, he's played everything you can imagine. So, Nick, thanks for being on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so Nick, the other night, Bulls playing the Magic, we were texting while I was at work, so I couldn't actually watch the game, but I was watching the play-by-play, and we were texting each other about how horrendous Zach LaVine has been since he came back from his knee surgery, and how much this team has just been falling apart over the last 6 games now. What is your take on Zach LaVine? Because I personally have never liked Zach LaVine as a Bulls player.
Neither have I hate him.
That's what Coach Mike says. I recall him saying that it was a great trade when we traded Jimmy Butler for him.
Who said that?
You. But
bring that up. I don't remember that.
But I've never liked it. I don't think we should have signed to an extension.
No.
This being us as from the older generation, knowing all the older players from the younger generation, what would you think of Zach LaVine? How do you feel like he is on the Bulls?
I think in general he's a good player. He gets buckets and when he heats up, he can get a lot of points. But I feel like in the Bulls system, kind of DeMar DeRozan's a ball dominant player. He's a ball dominant player. Kind of think there's only room for one of them, and DeMar's playing better, so I'd stick it with DeMar.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, here's the realization. You are right. I was pissed about that trade. They shouldn't have never done it because, in my opinion, Zach LaVine is an overpaid, shot-jacking all-star who plays no defense. He's athletic enough to play defense, and he just chooses not to. Maybe he doesn't choose not to, but at the same time, I'm not all sold on him. You know what I mean? And that's just my opinion.
I think with Lonzo Ball being out, it's definitely a detriment to the team when all 3 of them were on the floor last year, and that was your big 3, and you had Vooch as just kind of like an extra guy that could spread the floor and get you rebounds and get you 10 and 10. They had much better ball movement. Lonzo spread the floor out more. He was able to facilitate better. Lonzo, I think, has gotten so much better, but with his knee injury, how much do you think that has affected the Bulls in this year, with him not being able to come back right away?
No, definitely a lot. He's kind of like a glue guy, kind of keeps everything together. He's going to do whatever you need him to do to win, and without a guy like that, keeping everybody together, it's kind of tough to win. But I think Caruso's kind of been stepping up to try to do that. Yeah. But I don't think he's got the the skills Lonzo has. So he's kind of a little bit of a worse version.
Yeah, definitely. Caruso is more of a defensive first hustle player, where Lonzo is a pass first true point guard. Yeah. More of a Chris Paul style versus a Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like Lonzo. He's a great player, and kind of like what Nick said, he could do a little bit of everything. I mean, he's 6'6", he's a point guard. He can defend, he can shoot, he can really do everything. Like Nick said, the glue is especially on the defensive end. When he's in the starting lineup, he's phenomenal. I'm not saying Ayo's not good in the starting lineup, but I think that just Lonzo's length, and he could just provide more. Right now in your starting lineup, you got DeMar DeRozan. He's not defensive-minded. Zach LaVine's definitely not defensive-minded. Vooch is not defensive-minded. You have Patrick Williams and you have Ayo, and Ayo's just young. So in my opinion, you need at least 2 or 3 guys that need to at least play a little bit of defense in order for them to be successful. And, with Lonzo out and he's the glue, I mean, I agree with Nick 100%. They're just falling apart, and now they're bottom 3 in the East, and it's unacceptable.
Right, agreed. So I texted Coach Mike about this stat. Someone put up the plus-minus ratings for each team through November 15th of starter majority, and 3 or more starters are on the court, versus a bench majority when there are 2 or less starters on the court. Where do you think the Bulls on a plus-minus are with majority of starters versus a less, more of a bench role?
I honestly think the bench, because I remember in the Magic game, Javante Green was coming in and kind of gave him a spark and was able to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Bulls got a decent amount of pieces off the bench, so I'd probably say the bench, especially with Zach LaVine playing as poorly as he is.
I think the bench is so good too. Like, just piggyback off of what Nick's saying. Like, they have a bench mob. Like, they have a really good bench. I mean, you got Javante Green, you got Alex Caruso, you got Andre Drummond when he's healthy, you got Gordon Dragic who is stepping up for them. So I don't think their bench is good. I just think another problem is like they have no scoring off that bench. Kobe White is getting back into it, and he's kind of that offensive spark, but he's not going to get back into the groove for a while. So they have a great bench, and Derrick Jones Jr. I mean, they're all right, but when they match up with bigger teams, like when they match up with like teams like Toronto and stuff, they get killed on the boards. You know, you don't really have anybody that's rebounding besides Vooch and Drummond, and Drummond's really, he's inconsistent with being healthy and whatnot. So I don't know. I just think I think they need to add a couple more pieces. I've said they got to get Anthony Davis, trade for him. I think they need like a lanky big that can come off and block shots and catch lobs. But that could be Drummond if he stays healthy, but he's just not doing that for him right now.
Yep. Well, according to this stat from through November 15th of this year, the Bulls have the third worst at a negative 7.9 with their starters, and they are second best with a positive 13.5 with their bench players on the court.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's kind of what I thought, but that's
It's
crazy.
like a 21-point swing from majority starters to majority bench.
Plus
And
Zach LaVine off the bench.
And I was looking through some other stuff, and I think one of the best lineups was Vucevic, Levine, DeSumo, and Green. And I think there was someone else on that list. I think I listed 4. But that had the best rating, and then the next best, it surprisingly didn't even have DeRozan in it. Neither of them, the best ratings, didn't have DeRozan in it. So how much... I know we both love DeRozan. He's probably one of my favorite players. I've loved him since he was on Toronto in those series against LeBron James. But how much is it kind of like he's just not really adding on to value for the team? Like, he's putting up the numbers. He's playing hero ball. He's keeping us in games. But statistically, is he really helping the team in that sense?
Yeah, I know statistically it says, like, when he's off the court they do better, but even though it says that, I don't agree. I feel like they need him, and he's their number one scorer, number one option. And to kind of compare, last year, I remember they were saying the same thing with Ja. Ja was injured, and they were like, had an 80% win rate with him.
You're right.
And they were all like, oh, when he's off the court, they play better. But, like, that's just not true. Like, there's no way. You need your number one option, like, just to get buckets.
They're not going to stay that consistent, right? Like, for the time being with him out, yeah, they're doing great, but you also have to look at so many factors. Which team are they playing and things like that. So there's so many things that go into it, but, Nick's right. Like, you could say to DeMar, well, what are we going to do? Have DeMar DeRozan come off the bench? No, we're not going to do that. I mean, it would be great to have him come off the bench, but you look at, like, the Lakers. Look what the Lakers did, right? Russell Westbrook. They put Russell Westbrook in that backup sixth-man spot. He's coming in, and he's putting up, like, not crazy Russell Westbrook numbers, but he's keeping the bench afloat. I mean, if the Bulls need to make an adjustment, if I was, honestly, like, DeMar or Levine, one of them come off the bench and then have Javante Green start, or Caruso. Probably Javante start, just because he's been playing so well. But I do like him as that spark off the bench, though. So The Bulls just have a lot to work on. I think they just need to find their ground defensively, and they'll bounce back. But they're having a really tough stretch. I mean, against the Pelicans, that was a winnable game. I was yelling with my uncle at the TV, and I was in the basement the other night yelling at the Orlando Magic game because they had a great comeback. I'm yelling and everything, and then all of a sudden, Jalen Suggs hits that 3, and it was just kind of like they were battling back for so long, and then they just made one mistake, and Vooch missed 2 free throws. And I always say free throws win and lose games. I've been telling Knicks that since 5th grade. If you play in a game and you lose by 2 points and you went 5 for 10 from the line, that's the game right there. So if Vooch makes all that money, he should be making at least one of those free throws to at least put us in overtime. So
yeah, I agree. Vooch choked.
Yeah, he did.
He definitely choked. I watched the highlight, and as much as he choked, that Jalen Suggs 3, it had been a 1 in a million shot that was actually going to go in. It was so off balance. He such a wide step back, and then it just with no timeouts left, the Bulls just had no chance of actually making a comeback.
Suggs has been doing that for a while, though, right?
UCLA.
Yeah, against UCLA when he played for Gonzaga. I mean, he's kind of like that energy guy, but Franz Wagner, he fouled out, and like Jalen Suggs stepped up, but once again, it's just a situation where we used all of our energy and all of our momentum to climb out of that hole, and then we just couldn't finish it out. And I think that guys were tired. Vooch played a lot. DeMar DeRozan's been playing way too many minutes, especially with how inconsistent Levine is with his knee injury. And so down the stretch when we need him to be that guy, he's not there. Vooch played a lot of minutes, and when you get tired in the fourth quarter, it's hard to hit those free throws, man. I've been in that situation. Nick's been in that situation before, so.
Yep. Especially when he's been 87%, almost 88% free throw shooter off of only 2.5 free throw attempts a game. Yeah. And that was his 5th and 6th free throw. Yeah. And that's more free throws than he's used to taking. Mm-hmm.
Should never been in that situation with a team like that. I mean, they're one of the worst teams in the East, and you know you can't count those young teams out because they're going to come in with resilience, right? Like they're going to come in, they're going to work hard, and they're a good team. And Brock, did they beat the Bulls? They didn't have Paulo. They didn't have half their fucking team.
They didn't have Paulo.
Yeah, he was out. They had. I mean, Jonathan Ising has been out for a while, but
Cole Anthony was out.
Anthony was out. He's the starting combo guard with Suggs. I mean, they're not even at full strength, and they're this young, and they beat the Bulls like it was nothing, but. Honestly, I think Billy Donovan's lineups were bad. They were really bad that game against Orlando. I mean, Javonte should have been in for a long. He should be the first. Him and Caruso should be 6th and 7th guy off the bench. Yep. Honestly,
Javonte didn't even come in for his first time of the game until the second half.
Yeah, he's a fucking momentum.
And he only, I think, in the fourth quarter missed 8 seconds of the fourth quarter.
He's doing great, man. He does even though like statistically you're gonna see maybe he doesn't put up crazy numbers off the bench, but like his presence just makes everything more efficient. Like. His defense is insane. He can catch lobs. He's explosive. He got good hands. He's very versatile. You could play him like 1 through 4. I mean, he's a little undersized for the 4, but he can play a lot of different positions, and he's really good. So I think they should give him an extension. Personally, I think they should give Green an extension and try to incorporate him maybe in the starting lineup or not. But they need to play him a lot more, whether he's a starter or off the bench.
Definitely, I think Javonte would be good. You play Zach LaVine for the first 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of the first quarter, put Javonte in, and then you bring Zach LaVine back and give DeMar a break and keep Javonte in for the first 6 minutes of the second quarter, and then you bring DeRozan back in and give LaVine another break. Especially with his knee surgeries, you need to give him a little bit more breaks. I think with like Kawhi, as much as he takes back-to-backs off and he's like restricted with his minutes, with his knee surgeries, I don't think you need to limit his minutes too much, but you need to give him probably 5-minute breaks each quarter. Play him like half of each quarter, if not a little bit more. Yeah. Give him like 4 minutes each quarter off, and like spread it out a little bit. Maybe you can put him in a little bit more in the second and the start of the third, because then you have halftime to limit that time of him actually stressing on the floor. But you need to definitely get Javonte in with DeMar, another hustle guy, to go for, as great as he is with his mid-range game. You get Javonte running in there, jumping after all those mid-range misses, just clanking short. He's going to get putbacks and rebounds left and right.
Oh, yeah. He's an awesome player. I like him a lot, man. Seriously, they got to sign him to an extension. I mean, he's too good to not. I mean, he's playing better than Caruso off the bench right now. Seriously, he is. He's playing better. I mean, Caruso's okay, but like...
Yeah, but Caruso, his field goal percentage and three-point percentage is horrible. I mean, he cannot make a 3 to save his life.
No, he can't.
And Javonte Green... He can kind of show the ability to stretch it, at least better than Caruso. Yeah. But Caruso's off... I mean, his defense is always good. It's always going to be good, but his offense is pretty horrific right now.
Yeah, I agree. Bulls got to figure it out, and I think with OB's assessment right there, he should be on the coaching staff. So, because Billy Donovan needs some help with those lineups. Oh my gosh, it's brutal.
Yeah, because if you're talking about Caruso, he is, let's see, his stats pulled up. He's shooting 38% from the field and 36% from 3. So
that's not bad.
That's actually not as bad as I thought.
He's efficient, right? Like he's efficient. He doesn't put up a lot, but when he does take the shots, he makes them, right? I mean, I don't know. Yep. What about Javonte? Look at Javonte's. Let's see his. Because him and Caruso are pretty similar, except...
I think what I was saying was too kind of a small sample size, maybe past 5-6 games. Maybe as overall, it's not as bad, but lately Javonte Green's definitely been shooting it better.
Yeah, he's been playing. In my opinion, he's been playing better than Caruso for sure.
Let's see, Javonte. We've got Fester, please. Oh, that's loading.
You on NBA.com?
Yeah, NBA.com. Being slow.
Of course. Maybe it's my Wi-Fi. My bad.
But with Zach LaVine and everything like that, the Lakers need to do a trade.
Oh yeah,
Coach
he'd be
Mike
perfect.
here was saying Zach LaVine, Kobe White, and Pat Williams for Anthony Davis and Patrick Beverly.
That's a great trade, I think.
I think Bulls lose that.
Yeah, why?
I think Patrick Beverly is at the end of his road. I think he's
so?
got 2 more years,
Yeah.
2 more years of.
He would be there
Good
for like
basketball.
veteran presence, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, he could do more than just what he does in the game, helping the young guys. But
Yeah.
I think you said Kobe White and Patrick Williams.
That's what Coach Mike said.
Yeah.
I don't think that equals.
Really?
I don't think so.
I don't
Are
know.
there any picks thrown in there?
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
Lakers picks.
Yeah, maybe a pick or two.
Maybe with some Lakers picks.
Yeah, maybe with
I
some
don't
Lakers
know.
picks, it'd be. Yeah, I could see that. But Anthony Davis has been playing great this
Yeah.
season. Like when he's healthy, he's playing really well. And I just think he needs to get out of LA. And I think that the Bulls need someone like that, some guy that's Chicago native. Him and Pat Bev coming back. I mean, I don't know. I think Zach LaVine just is one of those players that he just needs to be in the spotlight and and being with him and LeBron will be perfect. I just don't think he fits because honestly, right now, I'd put my money into DeRozan more than LaVine.
100%. Yeah.
DeRozan's playing out of his mind right now, and he also never gets hurt. He's one of the most durable players in the league, dude. Seriously.
Yeah. If you're looking for we gotta make a push now, you want to stick with DeRozan. If you're not looking to keep that, because that's kind of what they felt like they were doing last year, when they picked, they traded in the season like a couple years ago for Vucevic, and then in the offseason got Lonzo and DeMar. It really seemed like we want to push now.
Yeah.
I think signing Zach LaVine in the offseason was a horrible idea.
They get pressured, yeah.
They should have done a sign and trade,
Yeah.
gotten picks for now that we know Victor Wembanyama is going to be available this next season.
Gotta trade everybody.
Do you want to tank for 1 year, get rid of Zach LaVine and Patrick Williams, and then you can pick up, and maybe even Vucevic, and you can get Victor and run Victor with Andre Drummond with DeMar as your best player, and you can sign DeMar for another couple of years with that mid-range. It's not going to go away for a long time, and he could stay healthy because he is one of the healthiest players in the NBA.
Oh my God, yeah.
As you develop Victor with Andre Drummond being more of your dominant center presence, setting screens, and you can develop Victor to be more of that stretch four that Vucevic is kind of playing right now, except be much younger.
Yeah, I think the way the Bulls are going, we're all frustrated that they're not winning, but I definitely don't think the front office is too mad about that, knowing that that Victor Wembanyama's on the table. We're at third worst
Do we even have a pick
in the East.
to get him? Do the Bulls even have a pick to
Yeah,
get
do
him?
we have our pick or no? I'm pretty sure we do.
We might, but I think I'm pretty sure it's either going to be OKC or Pelicans that are going to get
Well,
him.
the bottom 4 teams in the NBA all have the same chance,
Yeah.
like 14.3% chance or
I
something like
would
that.
screw that. I would tank this year, just so we can trade LaVine in the draft and.
Yeah, but if Levine's playing so bad and making the Bulls be worse, why trade him? Because then you get when he gets back and then Lonzo gets back. If Levine's hurting us, then
Lonzo gets back.
I know. So if Lonzo doesn't come back and Levine's playing horrible, and that means we're going to play bad, and then we get Victor in the draft, then I think that's fine.
Well,
We didn't even need to trade anybody to do it.
Victor is just such a high priority. This could be one of the biggest drafts where guys are just throwing anybody in there, man. I mean, he is as a generational player. I mean, that guy goes on any team and they're a playoff contender right off the bat. It doesn't matter what team you put him on. I don't know who's gonna get him, but man, that guy is gonna be he's gonna be special.
Even besides him, though, I mean, it's a loaded draft. Like, if Scoot Henderson is good on the G League, you got the 3 Arkansas 5 stars. I mean, it's a loaded draft, even if you don't get Victor. So
I mean, well, you kind of need to go for it because the Bulls, from that Vucevic trade, I believe it was from the Vucevic trade, traded their 2023 draft to the Magic unless what's top 4 protected. So they need to be in that top 4, otherwise we don't get a draft this year.
all right, yeah, I'm all cool with tanking then.
Well, let's tank.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but let's tank at this point
Because at this point, give Zach a year. Now that we got him, unless you trade him, give him a year to rest. Don't push Lonzo back right away. Get in that top 4, get a good draft pick, and then you've got Lonzo and DeMar for 1 more year.
Oof.
and
Yeah.
they can run it and they can go as hard as they can to try to get that championship with that young draft pick.
Yeah, they're. I don't know, man. That's crazy. Another thing too is like Vooch, man. I mean, he's playing. He's not playing his natural position, right? He's kind of like in the same situation like Cat was in with the Timberwolves, right? Like he was like, "Oh, I'm not a 5 and I'm not a 4." Like, all right, cool. We'll go get Rudy. We'll get Rudy Gobert for you. And now the Timberwolves are just brutal because they're stupid. They're trying to build around. They're trying to build around
The wrong
Cat.
player.
Right, you got to build around Anthony Edwards. Cat is not the guy you want to build around, you know. And I think the Bulls are in the same predicament. I mean, you look at Vooch. Vooch is not a 5, Ob. Nick, he's not a 5. He doesn't defend the rim. He's not a good rebounder. He's got great footwork and he's an inconsistent shooter. He'd be perfect at the 4 position. If Drummond could stay healthy, we could put him in the 5, right? I mean,
I think offensively Vuk would be great in the 4 position, but I don't have any confidence in him guarding any hybrid bigs, any hybrid 4s on the perimeter. So I think if we slid him at the 4 and we're playing, anybody with a good
like a quick,
hybrid, quicker 4, we're screwed.
I mean, if you think of like Anthony Davis is playing like the 4/5. If you're trying to put Vucevic on Anthony Davis, especially how he's
going
been
to
playing,
destroy him. So he's going to destroy him.
He's going to rack up another 30, 20, and 10.
Yeah.
Easily, yeah. Vooch is not a defender. He's got great footwork offensively, right? Like, and when he goes in the post, he's got great footwork. Arguably one of the best footwork in the league for a big man, besides like Jokic. But like, dude, defensively, like he just can't guard. And he's not quick. He's not laterally quick at all.
No.
So it's just not.
But he's also not athletic to guard down low. He's really a horrible defender.
He's a god awful defender. Yeah. He's pretty terrible, and you can't rely on 6'7" Patrick Williams to have your back. I mean, it's just not going to happen. The Bulls really need to figure it out. People are talking about firing Billy. I don't think you fire Billy Donovan. I think he's a great coach. I don't think you got to give him a chance, and he did a really good job with this team last year. But they need to make some trades, OB, and they need to make them now if they want to. Here's the thing: you make some trades now to try to push us up in the East because the East is like kind of slipping right now, right? Like the East is not going as crazy as I thought it was. Like Miami's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and there's a lot of teams in the East right now that are completely inconsistent. And there's a chance to jump in that, but you either make a trade for that, or we say screw it, fuck it, let's tank, and let's try to go Victor Wembanyama. There's 2 options the front office needs to make, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It makes me really wish that we had traded Jimmy Butler back in the day to get that first draft pick, so we can get Luka Doncic.
Yeah. Oh God! Don't even say that. If we had Luka, I think what we really need to do. Let's be honest here, guys. What we really need to do, we need to trade everything and just get Derrick Rose back, and hopefully he's the MVP guy, and he can just do it again. What do you say? He's got him in his fantasy. He's average.
I would love a Derrick Rose reunion tour for his last couple years. Just sign him to a veteran contract.
Kind of like D-Wade,
just
right?
Be here for a year, but then no.
D-Wade in Miami, dude. That's exactly what they did, and then he hit a game winner, and they're like, all right, well, I'm done. My career, I'm done. I can retire now.
It's like Kobe.
Bring Tibbs back too.
Oh yeah, why not?
But I love Tibbs. Everybody hates Tibbs. I like him.
He's an old style of a coach. That's
very,
why you like
very
him.
old style.
That's why you like him.
Exactly, because he just over.
I love that defensive first.
Yeah, and when Thibodeau had the right guys, with Joakim Noah, Butler, and all those guys, they were thriving. But that's also when the East was extremely weak. A lot of factors going into it. So I don't know.
Nick, how old were you when they were doing that 2011 run?
I was 5.
You were 5?
Oh my God, it makes us feel old.
Wait, no, not 5. No, you said 2011, and I was 7.
Oh, okay. He was in second grade.
So that's
First grade, yeah.
First.
So you don't get to remember how great that season was, watching Derrick Rose just rampage through
Everybody.
Jimmy Butler coming on the come up, Joakim Noah,
Luol Deng.
Luol Deng. You got
Taj
Gibson, CJ Watson.
Oh my God.
Ronnie Brewer, Kyle Korver off the bench with the bench mob.
Yeah, Gasol and Boozer came in shortly after.
I was a youngin'. I was not tuned in.
So for us, that run with the Bulls, it's got to be pretty similar to our parents with Michael Jordan in the 80s and everything like that. So what do you think? So how do you feel that would be for you in
today's era?
Today's era for you in high school, seeing Steph Curry and all these guys coming up and just rampaging through the league. Because for us, it was kind of at the end of Kobe.
Yeah.
And then it was
LeBron was in his prime. Yeah.
LeBron, Wade, watching Derrick Rose come up. Like he was just a couple years older than us. Who is that player? Like, who are those players for you that you're just like we're so excited to watch on a regular basis, like every night?
I always like LeBron. LeBron's always been my favorite player. I remember watching or I remember where I was at. I was playing basketball outside when I looked at my phone. It was the first phone I had, and I remember looking and seeing that LeBron went back to Cleveland. And that was right when I saw that. That was when I was like, shoot, I wanted to tune in every game. And then remember watching that first finals run he had where Kevin Love got hurt when Kelly Olynyk pulled his shoulder out, and then when then Kyrie got hurt and they lost. And then the next year when they came back from the 3-1. So I would definitely say it was LeBron for me, kind of growing up watching him a lot.
What about like any new players? Like any like players right now? I know it's kind of young. They're kind of young or whatever. But like, what player do you see right now that can be that type of like LeBron style for this era? You think?
Giannis probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Giannis.
I'd say Giannis or Luka for sure.
Yeah, one of the two. I think Giannis more because I think he's got a better supporting cast. He's already won one.
Yeah.
And I think he's got just a better team around him to go farther. So I think it would be him.
That's a great comparison, Nick.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I
But
love
then
Giannis.
again, Giannis, how old was he when he won it? 26, 27?
He was 26, 27. Yeah. He's 28, 29 now, right? 28.
I don't know.
I think he's 28, 29.
Something
Something
like
around
that.
there.
Yeah.
Luka's only 23 though.
Yeah.
So
True.
and he's already had 4 years in the league.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's already been in the league for 4
Yeah.
years.
So it's always hard to tell. Like I think Luka will be the best player in this league in the next 5 years.
Not even. I give it the next 2 or 3.
I think Giannis will hold it for a while. I think Giannis is right now the best player in the league.
Yeah, him and Jokic and Embiid are
Jokic,
top
Embiid,
3 in
and
my
then
opinion.
Luka is 4 years younger than those top 3 players.
Yeah.
If you put those as the top 4, Luka's still 4 years younger. Hasn't even hit his prime.
No.
26 years old, where you start actually like your body is fully developed. You're building that muscle mass in like the proper way, and it's your body's actually becoming structured. So I think by the time he hits 27, as long as Mark Cuban spends the money to get him,
He will. He's got the money.
get him the
Yeah,
people that he needs. And Dallas is a pretty big market, and they do really well at getting those European drafts coming over.
Oh, yeah.
I think Luka will have a championship in the next 3 years.
I agree. I think he will too. And I think that a guy similar to that, I really think Ja Morant is going to be that guy. I think Ja Morant could be that guy for the Grizzlies. Like, when we were watching the Grizzlies back in the day, it was like,
Mike Conley.
yeah, Mike Conley,
Marcus Gasol.
Zach Randolph, the defender, Tony Allen.
Tony Allen.
Like, watching those guys, like, that was like, they call it Grind City or Rips. What do they call them? There was like, I'm shooting blanks right now, but like, he's just, they're tough. But like, I think Ja Morant has a good supporting cast too. Like, they have some good young guys, and they have some guys that are just going to take off. So I think Ja Morant and Luka are going to be the best players in the next like 3 to 5 years for sure. Easily.
Yeah, I definitely see kind of Ja being the Kevin Durant to how Kevin Durant was to LeBron.
Yeah,
I think that's what Ja's going to be to Luka, kind of like right behind him.
Yeah.
A little bit more of an exciting player, but just never going to have the accolades that
Which is
Luka's going to have.
Yeah, I
which is
don't
kind
think
of
so either.
surprising because you would think, I don't know, Trae Young's having a better year this year, but you really thought that was going to be Trae Young to Luka, right? Where
Yeah.
Trae Young, they traded for each other. Trae went second, and Luka went third, or vice versa. I forgot exactly how that went
I
on.
think it was a little later, actually. I think it was like 4 or 5.
No,
No,
it
I
was
think
like
it was
3
for
or
the
4.
2 or
Was it?
3.
Because number 1 pick was DeAndre Ayton.
Aiden, it was
Bagley.
Aiden, Young.
Aiden, Bagley,
Oh.
and then it was Aiden was 1, Bagley the third was 2, and then Luka was 3, and then they traded for Trae Young, and then
And then
Luka went to
they,
Matt. Yeah,
they did a swap.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was. So I don't know. I don't think that was a terrible trade. I mean, everybody's looking back on that. Luka should have been number 1 pick from the get-go, but nobody wants to take a chance on those European players because you never know. Because
They're a gamble.
Yeah,
They
they're a
could be-
gamble.
They're
there's
gamble.
a
Like,
chance
he-
it could be Luka, chance it could be, I don't know, somebody who never touches the court after the
Victor
2 years in the
Wembanyama,
league.
there you
Yeah.
go, from France. And
But
somebody
you got
bust first
you had
pick.
Luka already kind of proven in the EuroLeague. Like he was a truly
Bucket.
proven player.
Yeah.
He was been playing since he was 14. He had already won the MVP that year that he was being drafted of the European League. He already won a championship in Europe. So he already had this proven mentality where DeAndre Ayton and Trae Young both got I think they both got kicked out pretty early in March Madness that year too. So it was kind of weird. And then Marvin Bagley the third was a weird one for me.
Went to Duke. He went to Duke, right?
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was a good prospect, but just never lived up to.
Yeah.
Never really developed his game. Doesn't have an outside game.
Not at all. And Luka has been a professional basketball player for a lot of years, and they say that playing in Europe is a lot tougher than playing in the NBA. Like Luka said that in an interview. He's like, scoring in the NBA is like so much easier than in Europe. Like Europe, there's so many different rules, but like he just, I don't know. I think that was a terrible trade. I mean, they should have took Luka first. I mean, now that we look back on it, because DeAndre Ayton, yeah, he's good, but like. Probably like a top 5 pick in that draft. Bagley should have been a top 10. I mean,
not even.
Yeah, he was. Trae Young, man. I'm not the biggest fan of Trae Young. People are like he's the next Steph Curry. I don't see it, dude. I don't like. I just don't. He's not.
I don't know about that. But
people were saying that, but like,
playing better than him.
Dejounte Murray's a freaking animal, but like,
he is.
Trae Young, dude, he's just like, I don't see all the hype. Is he even a top 5 point guard in the league? Maybe 5 or 6.
I'd say 5, 4 or 5.
4. I mean, I don't think he's that good though. Like. Yeah, he could shoot the shit out of the ball, and he, but like I just think he's super undersized, and he's just, I don't know. That Atlanta team, they're doing okay right now, but I think they got to go around DeJounte Murray, man. I mean, he's a beast.
Yeah, he's good.
But Trey had that really good run where, Giannis and the Bucks knocked him out, and then last year, I don't know what happened. He just disappeared. Like I didn't hear anything about Trae Young all last year.
Yeah,
I
don't hear about him now. I don't even talk about him now. I don't hear about him. Do you?
No.
I don't hear anything about Trae Young.
Except for that play.
First thing,
yeah.
The only reason why I even brought him up is because the first time I've heard anything about him was that inbounds play that they did to win last night.
Yeah, we watched that.
Crazy inbounds play, and he didn't even make the shot. He did the pass for whoever to make the shot, and then he goes and he. Starts making a face at the Spurs bench. I'm like, what did you even do?
He made an assist. Made the right play. But
yeah.
Still, it's not something to be like, oh, man. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Trae Young, man, is just... I'm personally not, a huge fan about him. He'll never be better than Steph Curry. And in my opinion, he's really not even a top 5 point guard. I would argue that Chris Paul is better than him right now.
All right, slow down.
No, I'm serious. He's leading him in assists and stuff. He's a better leader.
Chris Paul than I do about.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that has to do a lot with the Suns' success. Suns are a good team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For
top
sure.
3 seed in the West. So Hawks. I mean, where are they at? 7.
Hawks what? Like if they're in the middle of the East.
7, 8.
They got to be like 7 or 8. They're in the fucking Bulls, but that's not saying much right now.
Let's see. Hawks are 3rd.
Wow.
Really?
What's the record?
10-6.
Well, maybe we're gonna hear about Trae Young a little bit more. I'm sorry for all the Atlanta fans I offended. I'm sorry. Trae Young's awesome. He's not that great.
I really think it's more so.
But look at but I talked about this earlier, Brock. I talked about how the East is so inconsistent. I mean, give me the top 5 teams in the East right now.
Actually, it's pretty solid.
What is it? Boston,
Milwaukee, Atlanta, Cleveland, Indiana.
Yeah, how the fuck is how the hell is Indiana in there?
Yeah, Indiana
was projected to be a bottom 3 team.
I mean, they got a lot of young scorers.
They do, but
they got Benedict, what's his name?
Maverick.
Yeah, they got him. They got a couple other young guys.
They got Halliburton, right?
Yeah.
They got Halliburton.
They still got a veteran presence like Miles Turner, right?
Yep.
So I guess I could see it, but and Rick Carlisle's a great coach, right? He's a good coach. You saw what he did in Dallas, so I think he's a good coach. That's really surprising to me. Look at the standings. Is Indiana actually, are they better than the bottom teams below them? If you look at it on paper, no, not really.
They're a more cohesive team.
Oh yeah, for sure. But those young teams are gonna fall off. They're just having a good run right now.
I mean, you have Miles Turner, Daniel Theis, Jalen Smith, Buddy
Daniel
Hield,
Tice.
Tice,
yeah, Daniel Tice. Which that's a good pickup for them actually.
Jalen Smith, Buddy Hield.
Yeah, you got Buddy. I forgot.
James Johnson, Kendall Brown, T.J. McConnell, Chris Duarte.
Yeah, Duarte's good. I like him.
Yeah, he's tough.
He's got the most assists in the league right now.
So they've got a lot of
young
mid 20 year olds playing for them that are just about to hit their prime, and I think they are a cohesive team.
They got to trade Miles Turner though. I think they really got to get rid of him. He's been wanting to get out of there for a while though. He's still with them. Lakers.
they don't have the assets to trade.
Yeah, they do. They can give up a couple guys for him.
What are they gonna?
I saw that mock trade. It was like a 3-way where Lakers ended up getting Buddy and
Buddy and
Miles Turner.
Miles Turner, yeah.
And then Westbrook was in there, and the Bulls were also in there. It was like a
Westbrook
3-way.
would be great with the Pacers, I think. Actually, Westbrook wouldn't be good on any team in the damn league. Never mind.
But what are the
be
Lakers
nice.
going to give up their? They're going to give up their 2027 and 2029 pick for what?
Buddy Hield, they need shooting, OB.
Yeah, I think if
But where is it going to get them? Are they going to be contending for a championship at that
Hell
point?
no, they might be contending for a playing game.
No, I think.
Yeah, but why are you giving up more of your future
Yeah.
for 2 more years of LeBron?
So what? Lakers gonna tank and get Wembanyama now, or what?
No, they can't. They don't have a draft pick.
Oh, never mind.
You know, I think if they got Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, and there was the 4 of Buddy Hield, LeBron,
Yeah.
Miles Turner, and Anthony Davis, they definitely would.
They'd make the playing
title.
game.
No, they'd be more than that. They'd be at 4 or 5 seed in the West.
Think so?
Yeah.
probably.
Because LeBron would start turning it up, and Anthony Davis is playing good. And
Yeah, but here's another thing too. It's like LeBron could still be like that Robin, right? Like if you put the weight on like Buddy Hield, you put the weight on Miles Turner, Lonnie Walker, some of those younger guys, and take a little bit of stress off of LeBron. That's great. But like AD's doing that right now. But like AD just doesn't want to be that guy. AD is more of a Robin than a Batman. I think
agree.
AD complements teams better and helps teams better than being that singular player. Like you don't really see that nowadays. Like Nick, when you were younger, each team, you probably remember this. Like each team had like one really really good player, right? Like they have like one all-star, maybe a backup guy here and there, but like nowadays in the NBA, like when it was up and coming in like 2011, you know, like LeBron, Bosh, Wade, like they all came together, and then like some people started forming these super teams. But like back then when you were there, like LeBron, when he first finals appearance, he had nobody. You know, Dirk Nowitzki had like nobody. Like all those guys were like that one guy that kind of elevated them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like now it's just I don't know. I mean, each team, if you want to be successful in this league, I think you need at least 2 all-stars on your team, right, Obi?
Yeah, I mean definitely 2.
At least.
Or you need one superstar, and you need a great cohesive like budding all-star.
Like Ja Morant, like Ja Morant's team, like the Grizzlies, like
Yeah.
Ja Morant and God, what's the shooting guard?
you got Desmond Bain.
Desmond Bain.
He's gonna be an all-star this year. He's putting up great numbers, seriously. But so like that could be an example, right?
Yeah.
I think,
Definitely.
right? I think.
I mean, you don't need 2 all-stars. Like I don't think you need strictly 2 all-stars to win.
If you have
Like,
2 all-stars, the rest of your team would be pretty bad, right?
Well, I mean, just look at where the Nets are at now.
Yeah. Well, look
I
at Luka.
mean, you got Seth Curry is probably like your 3rd best player.
Yeah, that's not good. You can't have that.
Well, you got Claxton, and
I like
they
Claxton.
who tipped the ball in the other night against the Trailblazers to win the game.
Huh?
I forget who it was.
What are you talking about?
Nets.
God, was it Royce O'Neal?
Probably.
Maybe it was him. I don't know. Yeah, Brook. But here's the thing: Brooklyn's in a situation right now, like kind of like that, right? Durant is like the superstar, this and that, but like it's him and nobody, and they're going nowhere. They need like a supporting cast. Like Luka's that situation right now. Look at Luka. Like Luka's the guy, and then they have like above average supporting cast. Like Christian Wood is playing out of his mind right
Spencer
now.
Dinwiddie.
Oh my God, Spencer Dinwiddie can arguably be an all-star if he stays healthy. Yeah, they got Tim Hardaway. If you got Tim Hardaway Jr. off your bench, you're doing pretty good, right? I mean, like, I don't know. It's just, but like, anyways, I want to ask Nick something. Nick, you know, me and Brockton, when we grew up playing the game, it was kind of like going into the era of shooting. Like when we started like getting like to your age, it was kind of like watching like Steph Curry start to make threes, and the game kind of evolve. You know, like what have you seen now, like in the NBA, like from when you were a kid to now? Like what are you seeing is like the difference in the game from back then till now? Besides the 3-point shooting, like what other attributes do you think there is with it?
Well, I think 3-point shooting is definitely a big one, but I think that comes with bigs just being more mobile and bigs being outside threats and not just back to the basket, one-dimensional players, and they're kind of evolving their game. Like 10 years ago, there were no like Victor Wembanyama's or no Chets
or
anything like that. Now it's like, these 7-footers that are playing the center that kind of block shots on defense, but then on offense are like these twigs that can shoot and put the ball on the floor instead of these big, Dwight Howard type guys that are just gonna play down low. So I think that's the biggest one.
And that's that's a great comparison because like OB, look at Dwight Howard. I mean, he went overseas to Taiwan, man. He had 38 points, 28 rebounds. Like,
I'm gonna bring that up.
oh my God, that's crazy. But like his style, that's why he didn't get a contract in the NBA. His style of game doesn't exist anymore. Look at guys like DeAndre Jordan. He was one of the biggest dudes in Lob City with like Blake Griffin and stuff. He's coming off the bench for the Nuggets. I mean, he knows his role, but like Nick's right. Like the game is like completely evolved. I mean, when we were growing up playing the game, it's like you are big, you go in the post, right? Like it was like so now. I mean, Obrakta's game itself, he's 6'8". Obrakta can slash and shoot now. I mean,
But to
it's
be
just
fair, if I
development.
was playing in the NBA, I'd be a small forward.
You'd be a small forward, yeah, for sure.
But you still get you get Kevin Love, who's listed at 6'10", 6'11". He's like 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah, he's not that tall.
Yeah.
He thinks he's that tall, but he's not.
Yeah.
The height are always estimated. I was 5'10", and I was barely 5'8".
Yeah, you're probably about 5'6".
And on a really good day without shoes. No, on a really bad day without shoes, yeah. But like on a good day, maybe I'm scraping 5'8" with shoes. But you never know, whatever. But the game has just evolved completely. I mean, you see it. I mean, you've played AAU at the highest level. I've helped you coach AAU at like the highest level, and even when watching some of these kids, man, they're just so versatile now. Like back then, like these kids now could throw down dunks like it's nothing. Obrakta, like for you to be 6'8" and in general back then and be able to dunk was like a miracle. Now every kid can dunk, dude. It's insane.
And you see like 8th graders doing it too, like Leo's team, the younger Pac Elite team.
Yeah.
Played against the kid, and layup lines, threw down a reverse dunk.
Yeah, 8th
He
grade.
was just dunking. He was like probably my height, just jumping out of the gym.
Yeah.
And
That's a sign of how much like the younger generation is watching these players like John Morant who have that athleticism, and then they focus on. I think there's a lot more focus in 8th grade. Like when we were in 8th grade, I remember I went with the school I was selected for gym class to go out and help select the gym equipment for that little gym room that they built.
okay.
That did not exist when we were in 8th grade.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then you're right. It wasn't even another school.
So now, if you're in middle school, they have an actual weight that's resistance only, but you have a weight room that the coaches can be like, all right, today we're going to go do resistance training and we're going to work on core body groups and help strengthen your body as an 8th grader to help get you to that next level.
Yeah.
Where when we were there, it was, all right, coach brings out an empty basketball card and goes, make sure you got a basketball. We're shooting free throws all day.
Yeah.
And we're imaginary shooting free throws. That was our practice.
I went 10 for 10. That was awesome.
We had to pretend to shoot free throws all day for 2 hours. That's all we did.
Everything's starting off younger nowadays. It's crazy. Like there's a big, AU tournament this weekend for middle schools. My whole like social media feed is just like everybody like social media covering these like 8th graders, 7th graders, 6th graders.
You bring up a great point.
And that was not happening back then. I don't think.
No,
crazy.
that's a really great point, Obrakta. Like we don't touch enough on this, but like social media plays a massive role in this. Like TikTok, Instagram, these kids are always on their phones. So with them being on their phones and having everything available to them now, they're able to kind of like invest in themselves, right? They're able to like promote themselves, like, oh, here are my highlight tapes, right? Like, oh, here's my Instagram account with the AAU team I play for, the high school team I play for. Here's my height, here's my GPA, Twitter. Like back then with us, like social media was not really coming. Like YouTube was there with like a little bit of highlights, but like Huddle was just starting to come up, like recruiting websites, and then like Instagram was just starting out too. It wasn't this big platform it is now. So I think the use of social media is like super crucial with like your brother's generation and your generation to really market yourself out there. Like I know when we look for players for Pac Elite, like we go to their Instagram pages.
Yep.
We go to their Instagram, we send them a DM, say, hey, we'd like you to come to our tryouts. Here's the link, here's the fee, yada yada yada. But it's just one of those things, man, where it's like, wow, like the evolution of social media. Like last thing I'll say, hold on, Obi. Last thing I'll say is like think about it back then. Like back then when like Jordan was doing his thing, like they didn't have the media involved. They didn't have social media or anything. They didn't see how much of a, Jordan's a great player, but come on, he had a lot of problems behind the scenes. He was a womanizer. He gambled a lot. Yeah, I mean, you've all seen that. But like nowadays, like you fart and the NBA is covering it. Like back then with Jordan and all those guys, like you heard it on TV through the news, but there wasn't any like social media presence with it. So
And there was a lot of people being like, oh yeah, like let's say this, but don't release it, and people just hit the tape.
Yeah.
The tape just disappeared.
right, it's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I had a thought, but I lost it on that last one that you did.
Sorry,
But anyway,
I'll cut you off.
all good. So we're gonna have Coach Mike and Nick here do Poidal.
Oh gosh.
I don't
Explain
know
to
what
them
this is.
explain to them what the Poidal is. I'll explain to you. So Poidal is basically it's a website, and every day they give you like a player, but the player is like dark, so you can't like tell who it is. So you have a certain amount of guesses to guess which player it is for the day, and it's an NBA player, and we put in certain clues and stuff, and we try to figure it out. But like every day they come out with a new one.
So it's like Wordle.
Okay.
Everyone knows what Wordle is at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to figure out based off. It'll tell you whether they're in Eastern or Western Conference, what division they're in, team, height, jersey number, age,
Okay.
and it'll be up or down. And when you're really close, it'll like be yellow. And if you're correct on anything, it's green.
Okay.
But I'll let you know what everything is. So for guess one, which player do you guys want to pick?
We just have to pick a player.
Yep.
Just ran out the bat.
Yeah, just pick a player.
I'm gonna pick.
Wait, do we each guess, or is it like, are we together?
I mean, I guess I could pull. Well, no, together.
Alright,
What do you want to pick? Just pick any player, and then we'll base it off that.
I don't care. Just pick
Pick
somebody.
a player. Doesn't matter.
All right.
John Morant. Okay. And then after he said once, if we can imagine if we're right, but no, if we're wrong, then it's gonna be Eastern. And we just keep going down the list. We'll figure it out. No worries.
All right. So you are in the Western Conference.
Okay.
You have a guard.
Okay.
And height is 6'2", so you got 3 of the 6.
All right, we're on track
Western
here.
Con-
They are not on Memphis. They are not in the Southwest Division. They are older than 23, and their jersey number is less than 12.
Wow.
All right.
And it's okay. You think? I'll think.
So is in the Northwest Division. Wait, or do we? How do we guess?
So
What
gotta
do
keep
we say?
going.
You just keep guessing other players. So
Other players.
you know they're in the West, so you know they're not in the Southwest. So
What's
it's
the
the
number?
Northwest.
6'3".
That's a good guess.
Okay, I got you. Wait, but Damian Lillard 6'3".
What was the height gonna be?
6'2".
Ooh,
6'2".
he's not really 6'3".
But
What
that's it doesn't matter what he actually is.
What
Matters
about
what he is.
Anthony Simons? Should we go with him?
I think he's taller too.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe Chris Paul.
He's shorter.
He's shorter than 6'2".
Oh yeah.
But it's what they're listed at though.
He's less than 6 foot.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but he's listed as 6'.
All right, we'll go Anthony Simons.
Let's go Anthony Simons.
Because I feel like it's going to be in that division.
Yeah, well, and the number he's like number something. So, how many guesses do we get, Ob?
8.
Ooh, oh boy, we're okay.
And we got
We
this.
got this. And you're right. Yeah, right.
Anthony Simons.
We're wrong.
Oh
We're right.
no,
Oh.
you're
Say.
pretty darn close though.
Okay, let's go. Keep going. Keep going.
Portland.
Oh.
They're in the West.
Oh.
The Northwest Division is correct. Their guard, Anthony Simons, is too tall. They're still 6'3".
I knew it.
They are over the age of 23, and their jersey number is less than 1.
And this is not
Okay, it's Damian Lillard.
God, I said Damian Lillard, dude.
Damian Lillard is correct.
I would have been right the second guess. Darn it.
I thought he was listed 6'3". I swear he's listed 6'3".
Well, damn. So we got it in what? It'll be 3 guesses?
Yeah, you guys got any 3 guesses?
Dang, we're like
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
All right. Well, I think with that, we'll end it. Nick, thanks for hopping on the podcast. We'll
Yep.
definitely have to have you on again.
all right for sure.
Yeah.
Check us out on YouTube and everything, TikTok, Rumble, and check us out on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be posting some stuff there, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate having
All
me.
right,
man.
no problem.